You know those crazy-looking wings on Formula One cars? They're not there to look cool. They're literally what makes the difference between going fast and flying off into the barriers. Today, we'll break down exactly how air makes these machines grip the track like they're glued to it. Think about sticking your hand out a car window on the highway. Feel that push from the air. That's what we're dealing with, except F1 teams spend millions making that push work in their favor. Here's the thing. Air is everywhere around the car. It's hitting the front, flowing over the top, getting sucked underneath and swirling behind. Every single surface on an F1 car is designed to control this airflow. Nothing is left to chance. When you watch these cars on TV, you're seeing the result of thousands of hours of engineering work. Each curve, each winglet, each tiny detail exists for one reason: to make the car faster through the air. Let's start with downforce, because it's the foundation of everything else. Downforce is a vertical force that pushes the car down toward the track. Think of it as an invisible weight that gets stronger as the car goes faster. Here's a mind-blowing fact. When an F1 car hits 150 kilometers per hour, the downforce equals almost the entire weight of the car itself. That's 795 kilograms of invisible force pushing down. At maximum speed, that force becomes 5 times more powerful. Picture this. If you could somehow flip the track upside down, an F1 car could theoretically drive on the ceiling at high speed. The downforce would keep it stuck there. That's how much invisible weight these cars generate. Do you know that an airplane wing creates lift to get off the ground? F1 wings do the exact opposite. They create downforce to push the car down onto the track. Picture an airplane wing flipped upside down. That's basically what you're looking at on an F1 car. The shape forces air to move faster over the top than underneath. This creates lower pressure above the wing and higher pressure below it. The result? The car gets pushed down with massive force. This downforce increases grip, allowing drivers to maintain higher speeds through corners. More downforce means more grip, which means faster corner speeds. But here's the catch. More downforce also creates more drag, and drag slows you down on the straights, so teams constantly balance these two forces. The front wing isn't just about making downforce, it's like the conductor of an orchestra. It tells all the air where to go for the rest of the car. The wings split and direct airflow around the car's body, wheels, and underbody. Get this wrong, and nothing else works properly. The front wing has two main jobs: to create downforce and to manage airflow. Those complex shapes you see? Each little flap and curve serves a purpose. The end plates direct air around the front tires. The cascades send clean air to the rear wing. Some elements even manage the airflow going under the car. Teams spend months perfecting these shapes. A tiny change to one element can affect the entire car's performance. It's like adjusting one instrument in an orchestra. Everything else has to adapt. Most people focus on the wings, but the real magic happens underneath. The floor acts like an inverted wing, creating a pressure difference between the top and bottom of the car. This is called ground effect. Imagine a vacuum cleaner running under the car. That's essentially what's happening. The floor design creates this suction that pulls the car down onto the track surface. Ground effect returned to F1 in 2022 after being banned in the 1980s. Back then, teams didn't fully understand aerodynamics. The cars became dangerous because the ground effect was too powerful and unpredictable. Now teams know how to control it. The floor expands the airflow passing underneath from front to back. This creates an area of low pressure that pulls the car toward the ground. More grip, more speed, more control through corners. Now let's talk about drag, the force that works against the car as it moves forward. Think of the difference between throwing a perfectly folded paper airplane versus a crumpled ball of paper. The airplane cuts through the air cleanly. The ball gets knocked around by air resistance. Drag increases with speed. Double the speed, and the drag increases by 4 times. That's why teams work so hard to make their cars slippery through the air. Every surface on the car either helps or hurts drag. The goal is to let air flow smoothly over the car without creating turbulence. Smooth airflow means less drag. Less drag means higher top speeds. But remember that balance we talked about? You need some drag to create downforce. The trick is creating as much downforce as possible while keeping drag to a minimum. In 2011, F1 introduced the Drag Reduction System, or DRS. It's basically a movable flap on the rear wing that opens to reduce drag on the straights. Here's how it works. When the rear wing flap opens, air flows through it more easily. This reduces drag and increases straight-line speed. Drivers can go faster, making overtaking easier. But there are rules. During practice and qualifying, drivers can use DRS anywhere in the designated zones. During races, you can only use it when you're within 1 second of the car in front. Why the restriction? Because following another car closely puts you in dirty air, turbulent airflow that reduces your downforce. DRS compensates for this loss by giving you extra speed on the straights. When you're within 1 second of the car ahead, lights on your dashboard tell you DRS is available. Press the button, the flap opens, and you get that extra speed boost. But it automatically closes when you hit the brakes for the next corner. DRS creates interesting tactical battles. The car in front tries to stay more than 1 second ahead to prevent the chasing driver from using DRS. The chasing driver pushes hard to get within that 1 second window. Race engineers constantly update drivers about gaps. Gap to car behind, 1.2 seconds. That means the driver needs to push harder to prevent DRS activation. Gap, 0.8 seconds, means the car behind can use DRS. Sometimes multiple cars can use DRS in the same zone. This creates chain reactions where several drivers get speed boosts at once. Those moments often produce the most exciting racing. Here's where it gets really complex. Teams must balance drag and downforce for each specific track. Monaco needs maximum downforce for tight corners. Monza requires minimal drag for long straights. This balance is called aerodynamic efficiency. It's about creating as much downforce as possible while keeping drag as low as possible. Think of it like getting the best fuel economy while still having enough power to climb hills. Different tracks demand different setups. High-speed circuits with long straights need smaller wings and flatter angles. Twisty circuits with hairpin turns need larger wings angled more aggressively against the airflow. The aerodynamicists, the engineers who design these systems, have to predict exactly what each track will demand. Get it wrong, and you're fighting an uphill battle all weekend. When an F1 car moves through the air, it leaves behind turbulent, messy airflow. We call this dirty air. It's like the wake behind a boat, except it's invisible. Following cars lose downforce because they're not getting clean air over their wings. The wings need smooth, fast-moving air to work properly. Turbulent air reduces their effectiveness. This is why overtaking is so difficult. The chasing car loses grip just when it needs it most, when trying to get close enough to make a move. It's a cruel irony that makes racing more challenging. Teams design their cars to work in clean air. When that air gets disrupted, performance drops significantly. Drivers describe it as feeling like the car is sliding or not responding in dirty air. But dirty air has an upside called slipstream. When cars punch through air, they create low-pressure zones behind them. Following cars experience less drag in these zones. Less drag means higher speed. Drivers use slipstream to get close enough for overtaking attempts. You lose some downforce, but gain speed, a worthwhile trade-off on straights. During qualifying, Drivers sometimes work together, providing each other with slipstream for faster lap times. Teams use computational fluid dynamics. The supercomputers simulate millions of air particles flowing around cars. Engineers test hundreds of designs without building anything physical. But computers aren't perfect. Teams spend millions in wind tunnels, testing scale models with real airflow. Advanced facilities cost tens of millions and measure forces with incredible precision. Modern cars carry sensors measuring airflow in real time during races. This telemetry helps engineers understand actual performance versus computer predictions. You might notice teams bring new parts to every race, sometimes just tiny winglets or different floor curves. These microscopic changes can be worth tenths of a second per lap, the difference between pole position and starting 10th. Development never stops. While one group works on this year's car, another designs next year's machine. It's constant improvement and innovation. The 2022 return of ground effect changed everything. Cars now generate more downforce from the floors than wings. This creates less turbulent air behind cars, making following easier. The result? Better racing and more overtaking. Teams completely rethought their approach. Suddenly, floors became more important than wings. All this technology means nothing without skilled people. Aerodynamicists spend years learning how air behaves. They understand things most of us never think about: how air molecules stick to surfaces, how pressure waves interact, how temperature affects airflow. These engineers can instantly see where air separates, creates drag, or could generate more downforce. The best combine scientific knowledge with an intuitive understanding of how air wants to flow. Formula One is constantly evolving. What works today might be banned tomorrow. Teams that master new regulations quickly gain huge advantages. Those who don't will struggle. The sport continues pushing the boundaries of what's possible with aerodynamics. Each new season brings fresh challenges and innovative solutions. The fundamental principle remains the same. Controlling air is what makes F1 cars fast. Next time you watch F1, don't just look at the cars. Look at the air around them. Watch how wings flex under load. Notice the heat haze coming off the track. See those invisible forces that push these machines to their absolute limits. That's what makes Formula One truly special. It's not just about horsepower or bravery. It's about mastering the air itself. And now you understand exactly how they do it. If this helped you see F1 in a whole new way, hit that subscribe button for more racing insights that actually make sense.